With everything we know about Wilds so far, the world of Monster Hunter just got a whole lot bigger. Today I'll be covering the game as a whole, some of the environments, and pretty much all the little details that I haven't covered in my other videos. So stick around for all kinds of information so you know everything there is to know before Gamescom and before new news. And speaking of news, I have it. It turns out that I'm going to be at PAX on opening day. So even though I don't get to go to Gamescom, I do get to play Monster Hunter Wilds and get hands-on at PAX West. I can't wait. In channel news, I've updated the membership perks and icons, so if you're interested in supporting the channel, get over there and earn your claws by becoming a member. Tangentially related, I've got a Twitch now, so on my way to affiliate, I will be streaming lots of Monster Hunter Worlds. So if streamers are something you're into, give me a follow on Twitch as well. But with all of that being said, we are going to sink our teeth into the meat of today's topic. Monster Hunter Wilds isn't just running on the highly acclaimed RE engine, it's actually running on the new and upgraded version dubbed RE Rex. All of this allows for an expansive and seamless world unlike anything we've gotten in a Monster Hunter game before. With the performance issues that Dragon's Dogma 2 suffered on launch, there's been some understandable hesitation. But the RE engine has been used to great success in many other games, like Resident Evil 7 and 8 and various remakes, Devil May Cry 5, Exoprimal, and even Monster Hunter Rise. All of which are running fantastic. And you've probably heard that during the demo event, previewers said that despite a few minor issues, it seemed to run great, and that their impressions were overall very positive. With how well the past few games in the series have run, I don't think there is anything to worry about when it comes to Wilds. Now, we've talked about the expansive world, but Capcom has said that they hesitate to call it open world, as it's a loaded word with a lot of preconceived notions. But they did say that maps will be nearly seamless, with exceptions in certain instances where you have to travel to areas using other methods than your sacred or on foot. With regards to the story, they've said it will be more narrative-driven, and I think we can expect a deeper, more immersive story than we've gotten in previous titles. This will also be the first time ever that our hunter will be voiced, with the exception of the grunts and groans we typically get. They have confirmed that you will have multiple options in character creation, and it turns out that your hunter isn't the only new voice that you'll hear. Your Palico will have spoken lines for the first time, which may just be the most controversial thing that we've seen in a while. So certainly let me know in the comments what you think of the Palico voices. I may just do a deeper dive on it in the future. Though the team has confirmed that you can turn your Palico's voice back to the typical sound effects and meows that we get in previous games. Though I do think having voiced lines will make the Palico useful to call out stuff while you're in the field. That being said, I wasn't crazy about the voice that I heard in the trailer. I feel like it needs a little something, it needs a little graveliness to it, or a little bit of like meows, or something to distinguish it from the human voices that we hear. I like the idea of a voiced Palico because they've always spoken, you've just never heard it, but I think I'll have to wait and see what they actually sound like in the game to have a firm opinion on it. And speaking of controversy, there was one other aspect of gameplay that caused a stir. The developers have said that there will be certain segments where you need to experience parts of the story before allowing co-op, but that players will stay connected in the background and load in when possible. These required experiences were a hallmark issue for World where hunters would need to start a quest and watch or do certain things before being joined by others, oftentimes with players having to start and quit multiple mainline story quests in order to play through with friends. While I'm excited to see that you'll stay connected in the background, I'm still holding out to see what this looks like in a seamless game like Wilds. I, for one, would love to see the team move in a direction of being able to take part in the story while single or as a group of hunters. After all, they have done a lot with AI co-op partners, and it's not exactly uncommon for hunters to hunt in groups of up to 4, so why not just integrate that into the story? Maybe the next village just has 4 hunters. The devs have also confirmed that the storyline and characters are standalone and not connected to any other game, despite many callbacks to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. With regards to overall gameplay, the only village that they've introduced is Kunafa, which for the first time is actually a physical location on the map, a place that you can finally walk in and out of, cook monster meat, forge equipment, trade for items, including cheese, which seems to be a village specialty and critical to cooking your meals even out in the field. We also get camps, which this time around can actually be placed in multiple locations and not just the few specific spots from prior games. They can't be placed just anywhere, however, and there are safe locations and more dangerous locations. Some risky spots may be more convenient but can actually be destroyed by the monsters. Though, whether you can choose to defend them or not, we don't know yet. You can place multiple though, and they will function as both checkpoints and fast travel points. To navigate this new expansive landscape, we get a whole new map style which shows the world and points of interest in 3D. A great improvement over the old 2D style, which could get a little bit confusing if there was a lot of map verticality. I'm looking at you, world. And especially at you, Ancient Forest. But you will need all the info you can get to traverse these new maps, which are not only seamlessly connected to each other, but with the various biomes being 2 to 3 times the size of worlds. This game promises to be massive. To go along with these huge environments, they've eliminated the classic quest board in favor of seamless quest management via the map and menu. I completely see the reasoning for it, and I don't think it's wrong per se, but man, it's gonna feel weird not having to go to the quest board or handler each time, and wondering why my friends are spending more time in the armor box than the quest will actually take. Ready up already. Map-wise, they've only confirmed the Windward Plains, but even that one is like 3 maps in one, with both desolate and abundant versions and a transitional sand-tide state. That, combined with day and night cycles, all of which affect both the monsters and the world individually, means we are getting a massive variety out of each biome. Historically, Monster Hunter usually has a desert, a forest or a jungle, an ice map, and a volcano, not to mention some more specific maps and arenas. We also know that every biome will feature at least 2 environmental stages, such as the aforementioned Desolate and Abundant, and I also expect that they'll each feature something to transition them between the two. So look forward to a living, breathing ecosystem where monsters interact with each other, raise their young, and live their own lives even when you aren't around. Did I mention that there will also be roaming merchants, palicos, and more? All of this, and they've barely revealed anything about the game so far. It's just wild. Another huge thing, you can call in AI hunters to help in a similar way to Ryza's follower system, but presumably without the need to use certain NPCs. These AI companions aren't just for show though, they are intelligent and can lead monsters into traps, chase them down, will passively hunt monsters in the background, help set up camps, and much more. Carving has also changed, with the addition of physical monster bodies that you no longer just walk through in order to carve. I'll be curious on this one if positioning actually affects drop rates, and I'm also curious if the body will affect other monsters. That is, if you go out and hunt a bunch of things, surely there aren't just like 20 Rathalos corpses laying around. Capcom, please give me a vulture-themed scavenger monster. Another question I would have is that we know monsters will interact with each other when you're not there. Is it actually possible for one monster to kill another one, and then for you to just stumble upon it and be able to carve it? That would be an interesting addition. But in addition to carving changes, even just breaking the monster parts is upgraded, now granting the part immediately upon break. This game isn't even out yet, and I am already equipping Part Breaker. Despite all of these changes, they say that the difficulty and time to defeat a monster is similar to World. I, for one, hope the game will feature some really difficult fights in the end, but we have no idea yet what sort of in-game system is going to be in place. I do hope they change up their usual trope of hunting down the flagship monster the whole game just to find out that there was a different Elder Dragon behind it all along. If you're going to go through the trouble of making a deep, expansive storyline, you should change up the trope that you normally use, though it is kind of nostalgic in a way. But back to gameplay, they've also confirmed the return of environmental hazards, and with as complex as the ecosystem is on this one, I hope they go all in for more dynamic hazards and traps as well. And speaking of dynamic, it is also said to feature more dynamic music as you transition between town, hunts, chasing, combat, and more. And all the music we've heard from all the trailers and previews we've gotten has been great so far, so I certainly look forward to seeing what they do there. There is, of course, lots more to discuss, but we will go ahead and call it there, as that's pretty much the highlights of the things that I haven't covered in previous videos. I've got a ton of questions and not a whole lot of answers, but there is more news on the horizon soon as we approach Gamescom. So we are under a week out from new Monster Hunter Wilds info, and they've hyped this one up, so I'm sure it's something big. And then in only a little over a week after that, I will be at PAX West, face deep in the Capcom booth. Gotta get there early and get that exclusive pin after all. But all that is to say, there is a ton of news to come, and I hope to have the scoop for you post-Gamescom and post-PAX. Until then, you know the drill. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to the channel, stick around for more Monster Hunter Wilds content. I will see you next time, and happy hunting!